Hi there, a very good morning and good evening to all of you, depending on wherever you're watching me. This is Simply Stocks, and I'm live in this live session with you all. Delayed from yesterday, was to come live yesterday, but could not. We are going to discuss about a lot of point. First of all, about this IRCTC and what went on, and most of the patron members, YouTube members would know about it, as to how I felt about uh, what happened with IRCTC. Just want to discuss with you all as to how things are going on. Another point I want to make here is about the markets, which look jittery, and so we'll discuss about the markets as well, and then I will answer your queries. Uh, so let's begin with that. So I'll begin with the market talk first of all, and then the other topic of IRCTC as more people join in on this evening. Hope your trading and investment is going well. But IRCTC has jolted a lot of people. So we'll discuss about that. But first about the market. So 18,500, 18,600 was probably the high in the market, and we have seen that the market has not been able to get past those highs and have been making lower highs and lower lows. So I feel that this trend may just continue, at least for the first half of November, and we could be headed towards at least 17,000. And if that gets breached, we are looking at something like 16,300, 16,200, and that would be some level to really get in. I think that 10% correction that everyone was talking about, that has not happened for many months, may happen now. And this doesn't look good, because the way the market is behaving, that whenever there is some sort of buying that is happening, there is selling that happens, and selling on high volume. So this gives me an impression that this may just continue for at least a couple of weeks, and once everything is flushed out and we see something like below 17,000, closer to 16,000 levels, at that point of time there will be panic among investors, and that's when the market will bite you, and it will reverse and may continue to go up. So make no mistake, this is a bull market, and this is a bull market that could continue for at least 3 to 4 years, but there will be corrections, and this is one of them. And this correction could be a prolonged 10% nifty correction, and a prolonged 20-22% mid cap small cap correction, in which stocks may fall between 25 to 30% from the top, and I'm talking of very good quality stocks. So be ready for that. Don't get my suggestions would be to be ready for such declines. If you are a trader, have money at hand so that you are able to trade. If you are an investor, do not worry. I think there will be 2-3 weeks of jitters, and then the stocks, your stocks, if they are good enough and they are long term best picks, they will continue to perform. And every stock, every markets consolidate, and it's a good thing. In fact, being an investor for the last you can say a decade or so, I feel that it is one of the best thing to happen, that the market goes into consolidation between 16,000 and 18,000 for few weeks, or preferably about for 1 or 2 months, and then at the breakout, whenever the breakout will take place, it would be big. So in that regard, what I would suggest, that traders need to have cash in hand. They need to have very close stop losses, and probably, if possible, do not trade for a week. See the market, how the markets behave, because I feel that 17,000 is very nearby. Probably next week we could see 17,000 on the Nifty, and mid and small cap will have another round of selling today. They got away, and things were okay, but over a period of, you can say, 8 sessions, 7 8 sessions, you will see them down rather than up. And the reason for that is that the run up in the market has been extremely sharp. So even if you take 850 rupees EPS that have been talking about for FY23, at 18,000 we were looking at 21 times FY23 earnings. So that's not cheap at all. At 16,000, it would be closer to 19 and a half times, and that would be something to really look at, because it will become 16 and a half times, and there will be only 3 4 months in this financial year that would be left. So we are just about 16 months down the line, we would be having an EPS closer to 840, 850 rupees. So taking all these things into consideration, what I feel is that a correction was due, and that correction has taken place. And now we are in a situation where we are in the middle of that correction that has taken place, that has started, and we could be headed at least say 10% lower from here. 17,800 could become 16,000. At 16,000, we would have had a correction of 2,600 points from the top, or 2,700 points from the top. And that would amount to something like 14 15% Nifty correction. That would be a decent correction uh, to look at. All right. So about the markets, be very cautious unless 18,100, 18,200 is not taken out with volumes. We are looking at 17,000 next week and probably 16,000 by middle of November. So take that into consideration while you trade for very short term. Now talking about IRCTC and what has gone on since we last talked on Sunday. So IRCTC, the government came up with the proposal that they're going to have a 50% share of the ticketing revenue that comes, or ticketing profits that come for the company. And the bone of contention and why investors got spooked was the fact that the ticketing revenue all throughout is about 71% of the total profit. So if IRCTC make 100 rupees in total, 71 rupees comes from ticketing profits. And if that is going to be shared 50-50 with the government, then that immediately reduces from 71 all the way to 35 rupees. And hence so there was obvious selling, and the selling did take place big time, and circuits to more circuits to even more circuits, and we were looking at 25% down circuit at 650 when some sort of buying started happening after an announcement that the government has rolled back on its plan of this 50-50 share arrangement. So things did reverse, but you need to understand that the stock was around 914 yesterday when it closed, and it closed around 850 or so. So, in my opinion, what is happening, or what will happen now after what the flip flop of the government, and what that has taken place, and why I was angry on I was really upset when I talked about it on Patreon and on the YouTube network. The thing is that if the government can come up with this sort of, you can say, announcement at any point of time, it can do virtually anything. I mean, just one fine day they come up with this point that okay, IRCTC is making so much of profits from its ticketing revenue, so let's go ahead and take the share from there. They could have easily said that they would take it from rail near, they would take it from catering, they would take the revenue from other you can say sources, but they wanted the biggest pie from the best of the, you can say, profits that the companies has been making. Now, what that means is that in government-owned companies, you would always be, I mean, skeptical with respect to the valuations. So my concern was not the fact that the government was taking 50% of the profits. They could very well do that. My concern was not how much the government is taking in, what percentage, or what percentage of profit is that ticketing revenue for the company, etc. My concern is with respect to the intent of the government with respect to any profitable organizations that they have. With this sort of arrangement, I would say that eventually what will happen is that has soured the mood, and larger investors or very long term investors would be trying to not be part of this and would stay away from IRCTC. So what you will see on the bourses from tomorrow is that the stock may go up, but there will be heavy selling. Eventually what you will end up seeing, in my opinion, that is personally my opinion, so disclaimers apply, but by December, and so after December, or at the end of December, early January, that the stock may just keep drifting down. I don't want to say the levels, but the stock may not see the highs again. That's my call. uh, Currently I'm not invested, so that's a disclaimer, but even if I was, I would have exited. I did that, and the reason is quite simple, is that if the government end up getting into something, and if such kind of you can say interference can come in straight away, then anything can happen. Right now they have retracted. What is the guarantee that they would not look at some other revenue source, or profitability of the company, or change any sort of government policies from today till 1 year, or 1 year down the line, or say 18 months down the line? So in that respect, I would definitely stay away from the stock. It is not quite, and for sure it will not be now trading at 60 70 times earnings. You have to give it a lesser earnings because of this overhang of the government getting into or government changing policies at a different announcement at any point of time. So in that respect, the stock may not see those highs. This stock may not see the current levels that it is trading at. It might trade at 30 to 40 times earnings. If the earnings continue to be very strong, then 30 to 40, probably 35 times earnings. And if the earnings, I'm sorry, is not that great, are not that great, then we are looking at the stock trading between 15 to 18 times earnings. So be extremely careful if you really want to hold this stock long term, because you have to understand, if profit share is being taken away later on, no matter at what point, and the government has the say on the profits that this company makes, then you cannot say that this can be a long term consistent player with high profit growth that most of the private companies are. So in that respect, I would definitely look at some private consumer companies rather than looking at IRCTC from here on in. All right, so I'm ready to answer your queries. Kindly use the super chat and super sticker feature that will help me grow the channel. That will help you also ask me questions and eke out answers in greater detail. Also, support me on YouTube or Patreon. If you don't have a credit card, you cannot use the credit card here on Patreon. Then you can probably join YouTube. That will help you a great deal. Hi Manish. So SHIL entry level around 420 to 400. Those will be very good levels to get in. Have a 3 year view. Will should perform a disclaimer. I have the stock at the moment. Okay. All right. Vamsi with the super chat. Thanks a lot for your support. Your thoughts on Marico and Gale. Gale's results were good, but I think valuations again a such a stretch. See, so Marico, in my opinion, the results were not that great last time around. Uh, I would say avoid Marico. Probably Gale is a buy, but again, look at the market. I feel there could be some jitteriness in the market for the next 10 15 days, and then probably get into something like Gale. I'm not following tips industries at all, so I won't be able to comment. In fact, to tell you frankly, I don't follow most of the entertainment, you can say, stocks if they are listed, and other sort of stocks which are the same stocks. I don't follow at all, so I stay away from them. Okay. I don't think debt ceiling can lead to crash. What I can tell you is, if the government wouldn't have retracted on their part what they did yesterday, that flip flop, I think that would have brought about a 20-30% decline in the market. You would have seen how the markets have behaved post the announcements and in early morning trade, and everything, every government owned company was getting hammered. So if such kind of announcements keep coming in or something happens domestically, yes, the market is set to fall even more. See, Feroz Action Construction is a decent company, very decent company, but the thing is, there are better, you can say, real estate plays or economy related play that you can look at. You can watch my real estate stock video to look at which economy related stock can you pick. Also, auto ancillaries is something that you can definitely look at. All right. Happiest minds of builders soft at a current market price for 3 years. I would say happiest minds. I think the results were absolutely fantastic. Again, a disclaimer: I have the stock, but the results were very, very good. 40% growth on the top line, 30% growth on the bottom line. Things are looking good, and you would have seen the reaction. The stock did not fall a lot. Everything is falling after results because they have run up so much. So in my opinion, 1240, 1250 is a strong support, and that is a good stock to buy from a long term point of view. Okay. Kilpest, I suppose that the results this time around would not be that great. So, in that sense, if you are holding for short term, probably exit. But from a 3 4 year point of view, I still believe it could be a 2.5 3,000 crore market cap company. NBCC you can hold, and NCC I'm not that sure. NBCC with a stop loss of 45, 44 and a half, 45, you can hold, and this could see 60 to 65 in the short term in the next 6 months. Sequent Scientific, I think 200, 210 has been breached out. Uh, See, I'll wait for the result. The results could be coming up in a couple of days or so, and then only I can tell as to how the stock may behave. Okay. All right, guys. Thank you. Thanks a lot for being online, and kindly use this. Kindly do subscribe to my channel and hit the bell icon so you can get my videos straight away when I post it. And do support me on Patreon and YouTube. Thank you.